Greetings, I'm Arik Korman. Major Nichole Malachowski is the first woman Thunderbird pilot. In 2005, at age 30, Major Malachowski busted the gender barrier when she was chosen to be in the elite Air Force flight demonstration team, the Thunderbirds. She was a member of the team for 2 years and is now a White House Fellow. Major Malachowski is in Seattle to kick off Women's History Month at the Museum of Flight. Major Nichole Malachowski, welcome.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Great to have you here. You knew that you wanted to be a fighter pilot when you were 5 years old, an age when most girls of that age were playing with Barbie dolls. What is it that called to you?
Well, I went to an air show with my family, and the aircraft that's actually behind me down there was flying, the F-4 Phantom, and it was loud, and it was fast, and it made so much noise, and when it went by, it just rattled my chest. I remember feeling the aircraft come by, and I thought, that is the coolest thing ever. I mean, what wasn't there to love about the F-4? And so I had come from a very patriotic family where I knew serving in the military was honorable and noble. Put that together with that love of the F-4 Phantom, that technology, that power, speed, and grace combined, and I was sold. I was going to be an Air Force fighter pilot.
What was it like for you the first time you went supersonic when you were actually in the left seat?
I will tell you, it's somewhat more anticlimactic in feeling and in sight because you don't hear anything because the sound's behind you. You don't feel anything really in the T-38 or any of the fighters I've flown because the jets are so aerodynamically sound, but you see it. You see it on that airspeed indicator, and just the thought of knowing that you're going faster than the speed of sound, like Chuck Yeager, pioneered so many years ago, is phenomenal.
So you're a White House Fellow now. What exactly is that?
Well, the White House Fellowship is an unbelievable experience. It is called the President's Leadership Program. It was founded by Lyndon Johnson in 1964 under the idea that this country is so vast that there's got to be, middle-aged, 30 to 35, mid-career type people out there from diverse backgrounds that are making a difference in their different communities. So they're not in government, but they're teachers and doctors and lawyers and bankers and military officers, and that we bring them together to see not only the opportunities but the challenges that our federal government faces every day. And then the next portion is the education program of the fellowship. We meet with national leaders, whether it's someone like obviously the president, the vice president, but maybe Colin Powell, or even something as diverse as Dana Gioia. He's in charge of the National Endowment for the Arts, and pretty much everything in between. And then the last part is our job placement. We're all placed at very high levels around the government, usually cabinet level. I'm very lucky. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff of the U.S. General Services Administration right now as a White House Fellow. Wow. And as an Air Force officer. It's very unique, very strange in a wonderful way. So the White House Fellowship is priceless.
First of all, I've got to ask you, are the planes really as close as they look?
Yes, they are. I will tell you, the first time I went up in the back of a Thunderbird, because I was flying with the gentleman I was going to be replacing, I kept a straight face when we landed, like, sure, yes, I can do that. But I will tell you, about 50% of what I saw, I knew I could do. About 25% I was like, ooh, that's tough, but with enough practice and enough training, I can learn that. And I'm telling you, there was 25% I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I mean, especially the trail formation where the aircraft are stacked one on top of another. I mean, when we talk about 3 feet of spacing, that's not much when you're moving an aircraft that size, in that size of a formation going, 450 miles an hour.
So do you have to sort of just let it flow through you, or are you actively making the maneuvers yourself and trying to be as alert and awake as possible? So I guess what I'm saying is it a matter of being in total control or letting go?
I will tell you, it's an interesting combination of the two, and I'm not trying to not answer your question. It is absolutely 100% a mental marathon. You're constantly dialing the plane in. Small adjustments with the throttle, small with the stick. Always, even if it's your 1,000th diamond roll, that's the roll that if you let down to 98%, something's going to go wrong. You cannot have it. There is a contract between all of us. If you're not 100%, you call a knock it off. There's no air show in the world that's worth us not being 100%. Now, if I flew like this, all tense the whole time, fly by wire, that wouldn't be very conducive to an aesthetically pleasing show. So while it's intense, I really think that most of us fly very relaxed. And so intense, yes, but relaxed and not fearful, not scared, no anxiety. You must be relaxed, or you're not going to do a good job.
So what is it about the F-15 that is so great, besides the support staff? Is there something about the plane itself?
I believe because of the way it was built. I enjoy the redundancy of having 2 people in the aircraft. I think that having a pilot and a weapons systems officer allows us to maximize the capabilities that are in those avionics. I am certainly biased because part of it is the community itself. And let's not lie here. I married my weapons systems officer, and so if I said anything other than the F-15E, I'd be in trouble.
Wait. So he was your weapons system? So he was behind you when you were flying?
We did fly together once. I was a brand new lieutenant. Speaking of going supersonic, I went supersonic accidentally over land, low to the ground, which of course caused a ruckus. And when we landed, he was pretty mad because the squadron commander met us and pretty much told us we were in trouble. And so he's looking at me going, "Hey lady, you got me in trouble." And we didn't talk for a few months, but one day he came up to me at the squadron morale room and he said, "Hey, have you slowed down yet?" We both started laughing about it, and we were connected ever since.
Well, that is a hell of a first date, I gotta say. And speaking of flying, your call sign is Fifi. How do pilots get their call signs, and how did you get yours?
Well, that's certainly a long story. What's important about a call sign is that it means the squadron has accepted you and trained you and has gotten you to a point where they're willing to go to war with you. I can tell you with 100% certainty, every single fighter pilot call sign you hear in the Air Force is making fun of that person or something that they did. Even cool call signs like Killer, it's something funny they did. Now, my call sign is Fifi. Now, if I told you the story, I'd be breaking a big fighter pilot code, so I can't do that, but I'll narrow it down like this. It has a lot to do with a little person with a lot of attitude.
Major Nichole Malachowski, thank you so much for joining me.
It was absolutely my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions for future podcasts, or complaints, feel free to visit my website. It's arikonline.com. That's ARIK online.com. I'm Arik Korman.